You're a piece of shit, Papoose. You really are. You have turned into a piece of shit. The gambling, the failures that you've had in your career or whatever that didn't pan out how you wanted to, has turned you into somebody else.
You're very cruel to people because you're a narcissist. She's the type of person who will say something to you, and 10 to 5 minutes later, she'll say, I didn't say that. Straight bipolar. Was diagnosed with it. You're not Cardi B, man. Let's keep it a buck. This is how phony you is.
Remy Ma, yes, that Remy Ma has just been left emotionally devastated after Eazy the Block Captain ended things with what might be the most brutal breakup of the decade. But here's the twist. It wasn't over a man, a scandal-driven rapper, or even a gossip-hungry blogger. She allegedly cheated with a woman. Shocked? Well, buckle up. 2025 isn't slowing down anytime soon. This isn't just gossip, it's a full-blown emotional eruption. We're talking betrayal, secret relationships, private meetups, cryptic Instagram posts, and a mysterious woman known only as Z. Oh, and yes, there's even security footage from a vegan lesbian lounge in Brooklyn. Seriously.so, what's going on here? Is this karma for Papoose? A publicity stunt gone completely off script? Or is Remy caught in a chaotic triangle that makes the whole Jada and Will situation seem stable by comparison? Where's Eazy now? Why is Remy crying on Instagram Live? And who exactly is this woman throwing Remy's world into disarray?
Nobody shouldn't have any ill will towards me because I ain't do nothing to nobody. I look at it now and I feel sorry for old girl. Like, I feel sorry for her. I've told Papoose. I told them, why don't you tell this? Why don't you tell your current come up? So that's what it is. Tell your current come up. Don't say nothing about me. You are a world champion. You are accomplished. You have made it from out the ghetto, from the slums, from the depths of Flint, Michigan. You don't got no kids. You have your whole life ahead of you. Well, why are you attaching yourself to this 47-year-old man that doesn't have anything going, has no career, no job, no income, except for the income that he's claiming off of your percentage because he's your manager? Got you out here talking, looking crazy. He's the one that don't want to sign, don't want to get his stuff out his ex house. Doesn't be there for his child that he begged for, but telling you he wants another one. Let me guess.
They say you should never meet your heroes. What they don't say is maybe don't get romantically involved with your mentee or your spiritual advisor, or possibly both. Remy Ma now finds herself at the center of one of the most shocking, eyebrow-raising, relationship-shattering stories hip-hop has seen in years, possibly since Offset's accidental live session in the wrong DMs.
He's telling you he want a son, right? He has a son. He has a son. He just doesn't like his son's preference, so he acts like he doesn't have a son. He has a son. We have a son. What are we talking about? I literally told my friends, they was like, yo, you think he ever gonna leave? I was like, when he finds a replacement, when he finds someone who we think he can have doing all the shit that I was doing, then he'll leave. Man, don't nobody fall in love faster than somebody with nowhere to stay. I don't even know who he is today. Let me rephrase that. Because the person that I married in 2008, that's not who this is now. Now he's a wife.
It all began with Eazy the Block Captain, the face of modern battle rap. He rose from the underground scene to top-tier status faster than most can spell URL. Charisma? Check. Lethal bars? Absolutely. Swagger? Just enough of that Philly edge to win fans and intimidate critics. And then there was Remy Ma, an icon, a powerhouse, a legend. 1/3 hip-hop royalty, 1/3 media mogul, and 1/3 pure no-nonsense energy. She wasn't just a mentor, she was the boss. The queen maker, but somewhere between boardroom meetings and late nights on the tour bus, something shifted. Suddenly, the dynamic changed. Interviews that once felt purely professional started to seem unusually playful. Eazy's gaze lingered longer than it should, and Remy's laughter came a bit too easily. Fans noticed. Twitter turned into hip-hop CSI. Instagram comments became mini Reddit threads. And people weren't just asking if something was happening, they were wondering how long it had been going on. Initially, Both denied everything. Naturally, it's all business, Remy said. That's big sis, Eazy claimed. But then came a dinner in Soho with a third guest. A tall woman with dreadlocks, a nose ring, and sage in her purse. Some described her as a spiritual healer. Others called her a known seductress. And that's when things really began to unravel like a Fashion Nova dress in a windstorm.
Because guess what? I'm such a real one. I know the procedure when somebody goes to prison. I know the procedure. So it was never about infidelity. When I came home, and I went straight through that phone immediately. I know what was up. When I had to fight baby mothers at mother-in-law's houses on Thanksgiving, I knew that girl wasn't lying about what she was saying was going on while I was saying. I knew she wasn't lying. I just was mad. I knew she wasn't lying, though. If we keeping it a bean, I knew she wasn't lying.
What fans didn't realize was that behind the scenes, Remy was already dealing with a lot. The fairy tale with Papoose had started to fall apart. According to sources, by late 2023, the couple that once symbolized Black love was barely communicating. Passive-aggressive tweets, endless studio time, a birthday spent apart, the warning signs were there, but no one wanted to acknowledge them.
She had a certain individual who she was locked up with. I always heard this person's name. I ain't think nothing of it. We had like a little dinner in the basement or whatever at the crib. So this is the first time I seen homegirl outside of when they was in the penitentiary together. So I see her at the crib. Okay, she stayed for a couple days. She spent the night. She tells me, I'm going to sleep in the guest room with such and such. I said, okay, that's cool. I sleep in the room by myself. Next day, same thing. I said, damn, babe, you sleeping in there again? And at this time, I'm trying to be intimate with her. When it's time to go down, she slipped out of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, okay. She go, this, after she...
Clarissa better keep her eyes open. Facts.
She do that, she go back to sleep in the room with homegirl this particular night. But you want to know why she started having so much animosity towards me? Because I ended up finding out the truth, y'all. And I'm not saying this because it's a bad thing, but I'm saying this because she has done a lot of bashing towards people who live that lifestyle and talk so bad about them and say so many foul things about them that it hurted her so bad that I knew the truth. So on another day, I caught her with this individual in our house while my daughter was on the bed with them. Ended up catching it. Now, this individual is a female. So I can't do nothing to her. I don't put my hands on females. But I told her to get out. Because I feel very disrespected that took place in my house while my daughter was right there on the bed.
In the midst of it all, Remy, looking for clarity, was introduced to a woman named Ziana, also known as Z, a self-proclaimed spiritual consultant with a client list full of B-list actresses and disillusioned influencers. She called herself a soul whisperer. Fans, less impressed, called her the female version of that guy who sells dreams on Instagram live from hotel lobbies.
First and foremost, I have a cash business. So there's numerous times where I cashed you out and you went and bought things. With my money. With my money. You want to talk about property? We bought this house together. We bought it together. I wrote one of your biggest records, man. One of your biggest hits. So you want to downplay me as an artist when I wrote one of your biggest hits. That's so sad. All of this money talk and all of this and what I don't got and what I got. Since I met her, I have written 90% of the rhymes that came out of her mouth. I never asked for a penny. I never asked for credit. She's my wife. I didn't want anything from her. I just wanted to see her win. Look at the comments. They know what I wrote.
Remy was taken in quickly. What began as chakra realignment sessions turned into nightly fast-time calls, tantric yoga, and private two-person sound baths and luxury suites. One insider claimed Remy didn't go anywhere without Z. By January, she even booked her for a 30-city tour as her energy manager. Energy manager? People began to wonder, was she managing Remy's aura or her personal life? Meanwhile, Eazy was still hanging around just enough to stay visible, just enough to remain useful. They appeared at press events together, exchanged subtle smiles, gave fans just enough to keep the rumors alive. But behind closed doors, the air was thick with tension. One of Eazy's battle rap associates leaked some behind-the-scenes details anonymously. She had him thinking he was the king, but really he was just a distraction. Then came the turning point. Eazy stepped into a highly anticipated battle against Geechee Gotti, likely expecting to dominate with lyrical finesse. But what he got wasn't just a lyrical loss, it was a full exposure. Not through bars, but through evidence. Screenshots, allegations, receipts. Geechee didn't just win, he towered over Eazy, metaphorically 10 feet tall, and then came the moment that confirmed what many were already thinking. You out here creeping with a rapper's wife. The crowd reacted instantly. You could almost feel the energy shift in the room. One person even shouted "damn" and then like it was a live sitcom taping. Eazy stood still like someone who'd been caught red-handed, realizing too late that the damage was already done. That battle wasn't just a loss, it marked the end of a carefully maintained illusion. It was a public unraveling of Remy's secrets, Eazy's credibility, and whatever strange dynamic had been unfolding between them in plain sight. After that night, everything fell apart. Eazy went silent, canceled appearances, scrubbed Remy's name from his bio. According to someone close to him, he told his manager, "I don't care if she's with a man, woman, or alien. She played me like a game she'd already won." Meanwhile, Remy tried to stay composed. That worked until it didn't. During a live stream promoting a makeup brand, someone dropped a comment asking about Eazy. She paused, blinked rapidly, then broke down. Not influencer style teary eyes, but real emotion, deep breathing, shaking voice, full tears. "People think they know what's happening," she said, "but they don't know everything. I've been hurt too." Wait, you've been hurt? The same person caught navigating a tangled romantic triangle, now claiming to be the one wrong. But Eazy wasn't the only one who felt misled. Papoose, Remy's husband, had reportedly been distancing himself for months. One insider revealed that he'd emotionally checked out after discovering the truth about Z well before any of it reached the blogs.so. This wasn't just infidelity. It wasn't just a same-gender relationship becoming public. It was a multi-layered betrayal. Eazy believed he was the hidden partner, but it turns out he wasn't the only one kept in the dark. The so-called other woman was, in fact, the main relationship, and no one told the man caught in the middle. Then, just when it seemed the story couldn't get more complicated, a photo surfaced. Blurry but clear enough, a rooftop, candlelight, glasses of wine, Remy and Z holding hands. Their faces were turned away, but the mood was unmistakable. The fan who uploaded it summed it up best with their caption, "Somebody come get your auntie." Before this spirals into a true crime documentary episode, let's break down what happened next, because it wasn't just tears and regret. What followed was a cascade of leaks, voice notes, financial allegations, and claims involving a necklace that reportedly cost more than someone's annual rent, allegedly by using label money. And quietly circulating behind the scenes, talk of a possible rec audit looking into suspicious fund transfers used to support Z's upscale lifestyle. It all begins here with leaked DMs and a so-called healing retreat in Tulum. But insiders claim this wasn't just for spiritual growth. It allegedly doubled as a high-end romantic hideaway, supposedly paid for using promotional funds earmarked for Eazy's tour. Yes, you heard that correctly. What started as gossip may now have crossed into legal territory, and if that wasn't enough, there's growing speculation about who else knew and chose to stay silent. So let's get into the financials, because if you think this was only about emotions and private connections, think again. This wasn't just a messy relationship, it was a financial web of issues. According to multiple leaked documents and messages sourced from insiders whose credibility we leave you to decide, Remy was allegedly rerouting label resources to maintain Z's luxury lifestyle. That's right, the spiritual advisor, energy healer, and aura specialist was reportedly living more comfortably than some chart-topping artists, all under the vague category of creative consulting. Now here's the big question: what does a spiritual guide need with a $22,000 diamond Cuban link necklace inscribed with the word align? And more importantly, why was that expense recorded under tour wardrobe for Eazy? Sources close to Eazy's team say he had no idea the necklace even existed until 2 weeks after it appeared in one of Z's now deleted Instagram stories. You might remember the one, a Sunday Reset post where she's lounging in a velvet robe, sipping green juice. The caption read, "Not all queens wear crowns. Some wear power." Comments were disabled, but the gossip didn't stop. Just when it seemed like the story might die down, more leaks hit. This time, burner DMs. Not just random messages, but screenshots from a secondary account allegedly linked to Remy's personal email. These DMs featured late-night poetry and voice notes sent to Z with captions like, "I don't want to be fixed, I just want to be seen. And you see me." One major problem, Remy is married to Papoose, the same man who supported her through a prison sentence, parenthood, and even honored her with a tribute at the BET Awards. The betrayal wasn't subtle anymore, it was front and center. If this had played out in a Tyler Perry movie, critics would have dismissed it as too far-fetched. But no, this was real, messy, and unfolding live for everyone to see now heading into legal territory. Here's where things took a serious turn. Once rumors of budget misuse began hitting the blogs, anonymous sources from Remy's own label started speaking up, and what they revealed only intensified the situation. One insider claimed that funds originally allocated for Eazy's Block Pressure Tour were quietly redirected to cover what were labeled as wellness expenses. These expenses reportedly included a 4-day retreat in Tulum, custom candles infused with crystals, a silk meditation tent, and even a coordinated set of rose quartz yoni eggs. Now, unless Eazy's planning to tackle personal struggles through breathwork and gemstone therapy, something clearly doesn't line up. Allegedly, a discreet but official internal audit is already underway. Lawyers have been contacted, email records are being examined, and according to sources, Eazy is fully cooperating with the process. Meanwhile, Papoose doesn't appear to be staying silent either. A close associate hinted that he might be preparing to release his own evidence, potentially including screenshots, photos, and even home studio surveillance footage. One clip, which is rumored to exist but hasn't been released publicly, allegedly shows Z entering the studio at 1:38 a.m. and not leaving until just before a.m. And no, it wasn't for a music session. There weren't even microphones set up, unless you count sounds that don't typically require auto-tune. And here's where things take a more troubling turn. Remember that rooftop image from part 1, the candlelight, the hand-holding? Turns out that wasn't an isolated moment. Multiple anonymous sources have submitted photos from various cities: Miami, Los Angeles, New Orleans, reportedly showing Remy and Z together in seemingly intimate settings. Public, but just discreet enough to avoid drawing attention. Now that everything is unraveling, it seems no moment is safe. Bloggers are revisiting old social media posts, and fans are analyzing past interviews. One even resurfaced a 2024 podcast episode in which Z describes falling for a woman torn between choosing peace and holding on to power. Sound familiar? But perhaps the most significant detail yet, Z allegedly signed an NDA, yes, and ended drafted by Remy's own legal team. But here's the twist: that non-disclosure agreement expired in May 2025, this very month. And since then, Z's social media presence has become noticeably bolder and more cryptic. One tweet in particular sent the internet into a frenzy. "Sometimes the universe sends you chaos wrapped in curls and conviction." Was she talking about herself, Remy, or the entire situation spiraling out of control? No one can say for sure, but the tweet amassed over 800,000 views in under 12 hours and even sparked a TikTok trend, #ChaosCurls, where users reenact their own messy relationships set in spiritual backdrops. Because of course they did, this is the internet. Meanwhile, the battle rap community is watching all of this like a live pay-per-view event. Eazy's rivals are mocking him online, with one even dropping a diss track called Blocked by Love, featuring the hook, "She gave you the keys to the castle and dipped with the gardener." Harsh. Eazy, however, has remained silent. He scrubbed all traces of Remy from his social accounts, unfollowed the label, unfollowed her, and removed old tags from photos, according to one close friend. He's now in his healing era, which in rap terms means he's likely planning a comeback sharp enough to make Ether sound like a ballad. But here's the real headline: there are quiet murmurs that Eazy may be preparing to tell his side of the story. Whether it'll be through a battle, a podcast, or a sit-down with the Breakfast Club, no one knows for sure. But one insider warned, if he talks, the whole game changes. He knows things even Remy may have forgotten. What started as a low-key flirtation between a mentor and her protege has turned into a full-scale media firestorm. Emotional fallout, strained marriages, internal financial reviews, and at the center of it all, a spiritual advisor whose role keeps expanding. But it's far from over. In part 3, we're breaking down the fallout, PR teams working overtime, brand partnerships falling through, quiet calls being made to networks, and Remy's week-long silence on social media. There are also rumors that Papoose may be filing for separation. And in perhaps the most unexpected twist yet, there's buzz that Z is negotiating her own record deal with a competing label. You heard that right. The once mysterious spiritual guide turned emotional support turned viral scandal figure might now be signing with the same label that tried to poach Eazy from Remy just last year. According to one well-placed industry source, an A&R rep reached out to Z shortly after her Chaos Curls tweet went viral. The offer? A creative partnership that includes a podcast, an empowerment tour, and yes, an energy-themed R&B EP titled Moon in Scorpio. At this point, it's no longer just a scandal, it's become full-on performance art. The love triangle has evolved into a full-blown brand strategy. A calculated rollout, and who's being left behind? Remy Ma, once the one pulling the strings, now finding herself edged out, now the meme. Once the industry queenpin, now a viral cautionary tale. The same woman who once said, "I'll smack a chick today and again tomorrow," is now completely off the radar as if she just lost a versus battle with karma. Not a story, not a tweet, not even a burner account, just silence. And when someone like Remy Ma goes silent, it's rarely a sign of peace, it's more like a pressure cooker building behind the scenes. And this isn't just Twitter dragging. Her own team is reportedly falling apart. Brand partners are quietly stepping back. One beauty brand sponsorship was reportedly paused indefinitely right after leaked DMs surfaced, suggesting she may have used her touring company's credit card to book a luxury suite in Z's name in Paris. That's right. The rabbit hole has officially gone global. Apparently, during Paris Fashion Week in February, Remy was in the city for a brand shoot, but leaked emails from the hotel concierge show a second guest was registered under the alias Saw Evers, which just so happens to be the same name she used in her early YouTube beauty tutorials. Coincidence? Highly unlikely. Just another layer of deception, this time wrapped in luxury. And then there's Papoose, the man who stood by her side through everything. Prison time, career breaks, even a public miscarriage. He was once considered the blueprint for loyalty in hip-hop, but now he's reportedly done. Sources close to Pap say he considers himself spiritually divorced and is only staying legally married to protect their joint assets until everything is sorted. One friend says he's been quietly living in Atlanta for the past month, buying property, meeting with producers, and planning a solo album. The title? Unfollowed. It's giving Beyonce post Lemonade. It's giving Usher during his Confessions era. It's giving You Made Your Bed Now. Here's a 16-bar track about it. And as for the fallout, it doesn't stop there. Several battle rap leagues are reconsidering their partnerships with Eazy, not necessarily because of the alleged relationship, but due to backlash from Remy's most loyal fans. These are the same fans still quoting conceited in Instagram comments and writing "Free Remy" on walls like it's 2008. They're angry. They're calling Eazy a traitor, claiming he turned on the very person who elevated his career, but others are backing him fiercely. They say he was manipulated, used as a pawn or worse, reduced to a short-term distraction with a talent for rhymes. It's become a full-blown gender war waged across subtweets and TikTok duets. One viral clip titled "Why Eazy" was the real victim, complete with dramatic slideshows, sad R&B background music, and voiceovers from Remy's past interviews, hit 1.4 million views in under 24 hours. But it doesn't stop there, things just got more complicated. Someone reportedly hacked into Z's private wellness group on Telegram and leaked several client testimonials. These weren't just ordinary reviews, they allegedly praised her connection-based healing in ways that sound far more intimate than clinical. Translation: wealthy and well-known women sharing messages that read more like emotional confessions than therapeutic feedback. One message, supposedly from a female rapper whose name rhymes with Belanda, read, "You didn't just help me heal, you helped me feel alive again. I'll never forget what your hands did to my heart." Ma'am, your hands did what? The blogs jumped on it instantly. Speculation is now at an all-time high. One YouTuber even claimed that Z currently has 7 NDAs circulating within the entertainment industry and that Remy's might be the only one that got breached. And now there are whispers of legal action. Remy's label team has reportedly consulted with attorneys to discuss ways to restore her public image and possibly pursue defamation claims against former staff who've spoken out. One assistant who was fired last week said on a podcast, "The vibe changed. She started smiling different. You don't smile like that unless someone's rubbing sage on your soul and maybe some other places too. At this point, we're beyond gossip territory. This is reaching meltdown levels like a complete cultural and personal collapse in real time. And what's most shocking, it never had to go this far. What began as casual flirtation morphed into fixation, escalated into betrayal, and is now crumbling like a fragile Jenga tower made of IG Lives, burner accounts, and rose quartz yoni eggs. So where does that leave Remy? Alone, isolated, labeled everything from cheater to manipulator to the messy auntie who let both a king and a queen slip through her fingers. Public opinion has delivered its verdict, and it isn't kind. Papoose is out here glowing up. Eazy is rebranding in silence. Z is monetizing, expanding, elevating. And Remy, she's gone quiet, posting nothing, saying nothing, perhaps lawyering up, hoping that the next controversy will take the spotlight off of her. But here's the twist. Some fans are convinced this was all planned. Yes, there's a growing theory that this entire situation was a long game PR move gone sideways, that the affair was planted to stir interest, the fallout carefully orchestrated, and even the leaks were part of a broader strategy to get Eazy and Z more visibility. If that's true, then it could be one of the most calculated image campaigns since Kris Jenner turned a scandal into an empire. But if it's not, then we've just witnessed a very real, painfully public unraveling of one of hip-hop's most respected figures. And either way, the world watched, we clicked, we commented, we shared, we analyzed every post and clip, because this wasn't just a scandal, it was a cultural event, a reminder that in today's clout-driven world, nothing is untouchable. Not love, not loyalty, not even legacy.so. Now the real questions emerge. Was Remy Ma pulled into temptation or brought down by her own pride? Was Eazy just collateral damage or always a pawn in someone else's game? And Z, was she the manipulator, the mystic, or the silent architect behind it all? You decide before you click away. Take a moment to consider this. If someone like Remy can stumble, who's next? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you're still processing everything, hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth breakdowns, insider insights, and the narratives they'd rather keep hidden, because in the world of fame and followers, it's rarely just about love, it's always about strategy. See you in the next deep dive, and if you've made it this far, congratulations. You've officially sat through one of the most complex, layered, and emotionally charged love triangles hip-hop has ever seen. Now it's your turn to weigh in. Was Remy Ma being authentic or simply caught in a lie she could no longer manage? Was Eazy the Block Captain misled or executing a plan that ultimately failed? And Z, who is she really? A mystic? A spiritual guide? Or simply a savvy influencer with a wellness brand and a sharp understanding of influence? Let's discuss. Let's analyze. Let's dig into it all, responsibly or not. Drop your theories in the comments. Let us know where you stand. Team Remy? Team Eazy? Team Z, aka the Zen Disruptor. And if this video had you gripping your phone like it's the last lace front glue left on earth, hit that like button seriously. Also, make sure to subscribe, because this is only the beginning. Expect new revelations, fresh receipts, and more weekly updates, raw, timely, and unfiltered, because while the truth might free some people, let's be honest, we're here for the full picture, even the messy parts. Turn on post notifications, or you just might miss the next big shake-up. And if Papoose drops that diss album, we're covering it first. Remember, I'm just the narrator, the observer, the slightly sarcastic voice guiding your algorithm through all this chaos.